No one had ever survived alone on Mars for more than 7 days. But this man had been stranded on the barren, lifeless planet for an entire month. And that wasn't even the worst part, because all his teammates believed he was already dead. Back on Earth, over 60 million kilometers away, his superiors had officially declared him deceased and even held a funeral. Everyone knew that during the mission, he had been struck by debris from a communications tower. With a violent superstorm approaching, there was no way anyone could survive for even a minute. For the safety of the remaining crew, the captain gave the order to launch the rocket and return to Earth, leaving him behind with no way to contact anyone. What no one expected was that Jack had somehow survived the superstorm. According to his calculations, if he rationed carefully, he could stretch his supplies to last about 400 days. But after that, he'd starve to death. The next crewed mission to Mars wouldn't arrive for another 4 years. So in order to survive until help came, Jack set out to do the impossible. He decided to grow 3 years' worth of food on Mars. He started by sealing the entire lab with plastic sheeting, then dug up Martian soil and spread it across the floor. Like a farmer, he carved planting rows using a shovel. Next, he carefully opened the vacuum-sealed bags of his crewmates' waste, dumped everything into plastic buckets, and fought through the overwhelming stench as he buried it beneath the soil. Then he sliced potatoes in half and planted them above the compost so they could absorb the nutrients. But water was the key to keeping the crops alive. Fortunately, Jack was a biologist, and he knew that burning hydrogen and oxygen produces water. So he quickly siphoned off hundreds of liters of rocket fuel from the lander, then used a catalyst to break it down into nitrogen and hydrogen. His plan was to ignite the hydrogen, allowing it to react with oxygen and form water vapor. But the moment he lit the flame, it caused an explosion, one that nearly killed him. That's when he realized he had miscalculated the amount of oxygen he was breathing out. It wasn't just carbon dioxide. There was still enough oxygen in the air to trigger combustion. After tweaking his setup, Jack put on a protective suit and cautiously reignited the flame. This time, it worked. Water began to form. By day 54, Jack finally saw hope. A tiny green sprout pushed up through the soil. As days went by, more plants started to grow. When harvest time came, Jack was thrilled to see his potatoes thriving. He immediately began cultivating more using the same method. Now that he had food, Jack began making long-term survival plans. And as for how he ultimately escaped the Red Planet, you'll have to watch the original movie, The Martian, to find out.